There's a date circled in red on IT calendars all over the world. December 31st, 2027. That's the day SAP ends mainstream maintenance for ECC, the system running finance, logistics, and payroll at thousands of companies. And here's the number that should get your attention. Almost half of the companies still on that old system are not going to make it in time. That's not my prediction, that's what they're telling their own user groups. So today, let's talk about the race to S/4HANA. What actually happens in 2027? Why so many companies are behind? And why, if you're thinking about a career in SAP, this might be the best news you'll hear all year. If you're new here, I explain the SAP world in plain language, twice a week. If a deadline that moves billions in IT budgets sounds relevant to you, subscribe. This is exactly the kind of thing I cover. First, let's clear up the biggest misunderstanding. On January 1st, 2028, ECC systems will not shut down. Nothing switches off. What ends is something called mainstream maintenance, and for a business system, that is still a very big deal. Mainstream maintenance means SAP keeps fixing what breaks, keeps patching security holes, and, this is the part people underestimate, keeps shipping legal updates. Tax rates change, reporting rules change. SAP updates the system so companies stay compliant. After 2027, that stops. Well, unless you pay. Companies that need more time can buy extended maintenance. Same support, 2 percentage points more on the maintenance bill, available until the end of 2030. After that, you land in what SAP calls customer-specific maintenance. Existing fixes for known problems, but no new patches and no legal updates. And in case you think these deadlines are theoretical, for older versions of ECC, mainstream maintenance already ended, quietly, on schedule, at the end of 2025. The deadlines arrive. Meanwhile, S/4HANA, the successor, carries a maintenance commitment from SAP all the way to 2040. So the direction is not in question, only the timing is. Rewind to February 2020, when SAP announced these dates. Small detail, that announcement was already an extension. The original deadline was 2025, and SAP moved it by 2 years because customers weren't going to make it. And at the time, the optimism was remarkable. The German-speaking SAP user group reported that 49% of customers plan to migrate within 3 years. The user group for the Americas couldn't find a single customer without a migration plan. Not one. Everyone had a plan. Fast forward to this spring. The same German-speaking user group asked its members again, the ones still on ECC. Only 37% even aim to be done by the end of 2027. Almost half are planning for 2030, which, remember, means paying the premium for extended maintenance. And 4% are targeting 2033. So when I say race, I don't mean everyone is sprinting toward the finish line. I mean the field is stretched out over years, and most runners are still somewhere in the middle of the course. Quick question for you. Is your company on ECC, on S/4HANA, or somewhere in the middle of the migration right now? Tell me in the comments, I read every single one, and I'm genuinely curious where this audience sits. So why would replacing one system take a company 7 or 8 years? Because this is not an upgrade. Nobody clicks update and waits. Moving to S/4HANA is a transformation project, and it starts with a strategic fork in the road. Road 1, system conversion. You take the system you have, data, custom development, everything, and convert it in place. You keep your history and your processes. Road 2, new implementation. You start fresh, redesign your processes on the new platform, and leave 2 decades of legacy behind. And Road 3, the middle way, selective data transition. You build a new shell and carry over only the data that's actually worth keeping. Each of these roads takes years on its own, and before a company even picks one, there's the unglamorous work nobody puts in the brochure. Cleaning up decades of customer and vendor records because the new system simply won't accept them in the old format. In my own migration projects, that data cleanup was regularly what decided the timeline, not the technology. The chairman of the German-speaking user group put it well this spring. Companies aren't slow because they're lazy. They simply need this time because their landscapes have grown complex over decades and because the people who can do this work are scarce. And that last part is the sentence that matters for your career. Think about what you just heard. Thousands of companies, all needing the same rare skill set, all at the same time, for years, through 2027, through 2030, some beyond. I've led these migrations myself, brownfield and greenfield, and I can tell you, the people every project fights over are the ones who understand both worlds, how the old system actually works and where the new one is different. You don't need 10 years of experience to be useful in that race. You need the map. What ends, which roads exist, and where these projects actually hurt. And after 6 minutes, you already have more of that map than most people walking into an SAP interview. If the career angle is what brought you here, I have something for you. This Friday, I'm answering the question directly. Is SAP a good career in 2026? With real salary numbers and the honest version, not the recruiter version. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll see you Friday.